Hello, welcome back to another variation of Bunny Chess Bulletin. And today I'm seated with a very important gentleman in the Uganda Chess Society. And we are going to be sharing a light moment and be able to kind of give you a glimpse of who he is and a few things as we shall see along. Welcome to the channel, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
It's my pleasure.
All right. How would you want to be referred to or described in the Chess Society as you?
I'm the coach.
The coach. Yes, the coach. Please introduce yourself to our viewers. You can introduce yourself to our viewers, please.
My name is Mathias Ssonko Allan. I'm known as a coach, Coach Ssonko. That's what most people know. And I'm a valuer by profession and also a chess player for a couple of years. And I've also coached the game for 10 years and beyond.
Wow, a decade now plus.
And currently I'm the national coach of Uganda.
Okay, national coach, the coach. Where do you start chess from?
My journey of chess started in Mwiri. That is 2002.
Okay.
I was in senior 2.
Okay.
Though I didn't really learn the game from Mwiri, I was taught by a girl, a sister to a friend to my sister. That is from home, how pieces move.
Okay.
We played one game. She didn't come back, and she left me with the board, and that's how my journey started.
Okay. All right, 2002. I know most people are going to wonder where they were. Personally, I think I was in P3. I was in P3 in Mwiri Primary, but I think I followed you in Msoga College Mwiri after.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, and I'm happy to be the OB of the coach.
Wow. Wow, we're the leopards.
All right. What probably okay. What do you normally train? Like, what is your focus in training when you look at training someone particularly?
My focus on training for the past years, being a FIDE instructor, I've been focusing a lot on middle game and end game.
Okay.
For myself and my students, because that's where the actual talent for anyone who is playing this game is created. Even in life, you can have a lot of theory, you can have a good beginning, but how we juggle out in the streets is normally based on creativity and experience. So middle game and my end game, it's always my main focus.
Okay. So you're not this type of coach who asks people what kind of openings you play or something like that?
What kind of?
Opening someone plays before you gauge probably in terms of starting to coach them?
My focus is not mainly on openings.
Okay.
Because that would be a specialty for a grandmaster, for an international master, for people going to that level. At my level, I focus so much on the style of a player. Even when I'm looking at my opponent, I so much want to focus on their weaknesses and strength after the groundwork, because opening is like, we play the opening as the book.
Okay.
Yes. If in case you out-prepare me, then I might get the opening wrong. But middle game and end game, there you don't have to out-prepare me, you have to outplay me. The two things are different.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We've seen you play in the Uganda National League as well as play in the Kenya National League. Could you please tell us about probably the clubs you play for in Uganda and also in Kenya?
Last season, this year we are not yet signed up. But last season I played for a Nairobi Chess Club.
Okay.
And in Uganda I was playing for CNA. It was one thing. Last year was actually very unique because I was just making a comeback into the game after a very long time.
Okay.
And after my performance from the Chireka of 2024, clubs came in to sign me up.
Okay.
When I just came to enjoy myself, I was like, let me just play this one tournament, one off, and then I go back into my resting.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that they signed up this old dog. And fun enough, I could buy it afterwards. So CNA in particular is a new club. Our patron was a former patron for Sunlam, the time we played for Sunlam.
Okay.
So he came back and wanted to change the feeling of the league, to change the atmosphere, to bring in a vibrant competition. And I believe we gave people what they expected of us, even when we didn't win the final trophy. But still.
Yeah, you gave them a run for their money.
Yes, we gave them a run for their money.
So there's this question that always comes up: what is CNA in full? Because the entire league, the entire time, everyone was like, "What is CNA?"
Everyone is
probably you could be the right person to give us
CNA.
Yes,
we left it as a myth. We left it as a myth because it's the branding. The more they wonder what is CNA, is the more we get popular and more views they really want to. But it's just initials of someone, yes.
Oh, okay. So now, people, you have it, because I know it's been a while, and the whole league, everyone kept asking, what is CNA in full? The captain dodged all that question as many times as he could. He wouldn't allow us to get to know.
I saw people saying Chess, Nanga, and Tammy. The patron desired to keep it to himself, but it's initials of his grandfather.
Okay.
That was he had the legacy he left in their family, and decided to use his initials.
Okay.
To open up a club.
All right.
He was a great man.
Yeah. Okay. Now, you have given more light onto the Uganda end. What about the Kenya League Nairobi Chess Club?
Nairobi Chess Club, I had a good time there with my teammates.
Okay.
And we still finished in the Super League in the top 6.
Okay.
And I love the fact that I went back to Kenya after this very long time, and people had drastically improved. Everyone was a new face. Most of the young generation didn't know me. So they were wondering, who is this? Basically, my playing was surprising to most of them. And it's quite a competitive league. I love the structures. They have a lot of new things that we don't do here.
Okay.
And they're kind of more organized for now, of which we look forward, of course, to step up our game also here in Uganda, to come up with a better organized league, since we're the giants of the region.
Okay. All right. Now I want us to talk about the Uganda National Chess Championship, which you've just finished on a high note. I want us to, probably you can walk me through, and our viewers, your experience, and probably those notable matches, because we know the first game was hot for you. But again, the last game, you've made sure it is hot for your opponents.
Yeah, like this, first of all, I was not sure whether I played. That's for sure. I was not sure whether I played. I knew I'm going to be a spectator, given the fact that I'd played just one tournament, full Chireka. I played Raushenyi and didn't complete the rounds. I had an engagement, so I registered for 6 rounds, lost 1 game. So I was like, I'm off. Then I come to Chireka to enjoy myself. I found myself performing well, finishing podium, but still I knew I don't have enough points to qualify. I kept talking to my colleague Patrick. I bought one for CNA. I'm like, I think we can't make it here, because we're all not playing to our best form. Then out of the blue, I entered mix. It was unfortunate that I replaced my student, Pido Edwin. I was so happy that he was in the SPA 12, but he couldn't make it for the playing, given the fact this is his final year. So somehow I was happy, and then to replace him, and then I was not happy that I've replaced him, because I really wanted him to play and participate. It's not that we have not gone for Olympiad. We have been in the Olympiad before, but I've picked on the coaching career, and it's what I love more and more. We want to do something new with these kids, because they're the ones with a greater potential. So I entered the Super 12 like that. To play these games requires a lot of preparation, which time I didn't have, for sure. I did not have. With it, first of all, you have 1 week to go into the game. Sparing is not yet out. Even when it's out, you don't have the time to sit and now. So to me, it favored more the young people than the working people.
Okay.
The working, not only working, the married people were not so favored.
True.
So the young guys had a lot of time to do their prep.
Prepare.
And to come up. And truly, the opening match said it for all. This man, Musasi, played me a game that I kept on the board. Just, I even told him every time I went to the washroom, I kept smelling his cologne. Like he was everywhere around.
That is how serious the game was.
Hey. So I was like, no, I think this gentleman needs to be on the Olympiad team if he's going to be preparing like this. But like I said, his games that followed didn't turn out to be good for him. But his major thing was if he reaches a position that he's not familiar with, now that's where now experience comes in for most players, and he lost a lot of games where he was better.
Yeah.
And then how did the rest of the games go? I was not so happy with my play, but I was satisfied given the fact I'd put in less really to prepare for this event. I was not prepared. So I did not have any single game that I say I've outplayed someone from the beginning up to the end. Where I outplayed people, I drew. And other games, I was always blundering, then jumping out. I loved my winning techniques, especially the very last game when I really thought I had no hope. I think the game is done. It's done. At one point, a draw came into my head. I'm like, okay, in case they tell me draw here, I'm just going to accept. But I was like, oh no, let me move on. Because the current world number one, that is Carlsen, even the world champion, I've seen most of their games when they come out from lost positions. So chess, we can never be computers. If I go back to the era where there are no computers, you would come out and you analyze forever to find out how the person was lost. But right now people run to that stuff like you were lost, but on the board you couldn't prove. So minus just our games, the standard of play was not really the best. But for fairness, this is, I think, the most fair Super 12. In the past, we have had issues of people complaining of dealings, which was not here. The kids gave in a fight. We didn't have kids dropping out because they would feel they have been demoralized. The former national juniors have been having a very, very terrible time. These ones really gave it a fight. And generally, to me, they were really the best, especially for the ladies' side. The juniors really gave it all they had. Having the fact
I think there's
that
only one person who's not a junior.
Only one senior player qualified, that is Shakira, but they dominated the entire field. It didn't happen on our end, but I was happy that we have Nyola, we have Egesa. He has been my student before from the university. I'm happy at least to have him. Also Patrick, we have worked with him for long. I love his resilience. I love Bob the Beast, how he made his comeback this time around. Everyone was like, this is our Shua. But the Shua.
Everyone was like, the old man will not go anywhere.
In my game, how I beat him, I don't know. I said, I've been a very slippery opponent for most people when it gets to end game. When we get the end game and you're not so sure of your end game, things can turn out to be different even if you caught me the opening. So basically, the Super 12, apart from the few inaccuracies, the tension, people have been really in for it. And we have not got a lot of, I've been following the online presence. We have not got a lot of the laughing, the mockery. Sometimes a player can be affected emotionally based on what people talk, what people say, and they're praying that the support goes on all the way to the Olympiad to encourage our players, not to make it a war. Because the person beat you in Uganda, you should discourage them from playing well out
Very
there.
true, very true. Because actually, I think previously, when someone qualifies to play the qualifiers, would come out of all social media, even switch off phones so that they don't interact with whatever comes. But this time around, we've seen people still stay within the socials and still they've put on a display.
They were healthy.
So should we say that your best game was against Harrod for this tournament?
In this game, I can't really say that I have the best game, because all my best game was unfortunately a draw. The one against Haruna, I played with a high level of accuracy, and I just failed to convert. I just failed to convert. I just had a miss. But if you talk about my best end games, my best end game was the one against Bob, which I converted from a lost position. But still, I didn't know that I was lost. In my head, it was not there.
Yeah.
For Harold, I was really lost. I can rank it as my best comeback.
Okay. Because of that game, he was dropped out of the team.
Many people entered in the
because actually, him losing to you, then Bob winning, shifted everything.
Yeah. But to me, I came ready. I was like, if this is the way we're playing, this is the way we're going to play out there. You're winning. We have had our team players losing so many games they're winning, but the recklessness starts from home.
True.
We get too comfortable in winning positions, which is something we have to work on, and it has been tested here. Everyone has lost several games, including Egesa. He had even given up.
He
has lost several games that he was winning, even against me. I think that was also a terrible one. I think in this Olympiad qualifiers, I've had the most the most lives. I've not been dying.
Okay. Then which one has been your worst?
My worst game was against Rajab. For sure. That was the only game where I took myself into a blunder that I'm seeing. I think it was fatigue or something. I just took myself into a blunder. I miscalculated tactics and hid interest.
Now, from your point of view as a coach, what normally changes? Because we've seen this happen several times. It happened to me once. I was playing university games in Jomo Kenyatta, and I was winning. But out of the blue, I moved away my king from my pawns, and from nowhere, all my pawns were gone. And it really messed me up almost. I had to, I think, sit out a day before so that I could recover. We've seen it happen at the World Championship level, whereby Ding played something and everyone was like, at his level, we can't expect something like that. We've seen even the current champion doing it.
True.
So as a coach, what do you think normally happens during such
I've started patterns. Even why initially I told you I work more on my middle game and end game. End game mostly. When I was younger, I used to be so aggressive and so on, but your aggression does not work if people defend you off.
Yeah.
But the end game, it comes up with a lot of winning technique, resilience, stamina. I watched end games of Luke Van Willy. He could tell you that most people ignore the end game, but the end game, that's when you have been seated on the board for over 2 hours. You're tired. All your prep for the night, everything has just come up and zeroed to 2 rooks and few pawns on the board.
Yeah.
And now, in your head, you're focusing on, okay, this is a draw. Or sometimes you want to still force milk out of a stone, even when it is drawn. So most of us, it is lack of discipline, fatigue, especially the times when we are winning and the person defends. Sometimes it's so hard for us to accept, now this is drawn, let me take that. you still remain
I need
locked
to
up
win.
in
I
the
need
thing
to
of,
win.
I am winning. I can still
Even in a lost
I can
position,
still win.
you feel like
when the position is drawn. So we don't control our nerves on the board. Position has changed. Things are no longer in your favor. Control your nerves.
Okay.
But the stamina is very, very key. Most of us don't work out. Most of us don't have the proper physique, and it's something that has been lacking in most of our plays.
Okay.
And it's everywhere. Everywhere.
Okay. So we're going to look at your plan as a national coach. And I'm going to start by asking you, do you know about the Russian School of Chess?
Yeah, I know the Russian School of Chess from the times of Botvinnik, and it has gave life to a lot of world champions.
Okay, then the Indian School of Chess?
Yes, I know the Indian School of Chess inspired by Viswanathan Anand. Yes.
Okay. So should we say that now as a national coach, we are going to get the Ugandan School of Chess dominating Africa?
The Ugandan School of Chess. Truly saying that is my biggest dream. Even I want to work on having an academy, because we don't have a FIDE licensed academy. We're trying hard to see that we go through with FIDE accreditations to accept us to have me as an FT. When I become an FT, a FIDE trainer, then I can be able to open up an academy and have a certified FIDE academy to come up with a school, the chess school, the first chess school within the region, which will build a lot of masters. And in that school, what's my intention? Of course, we have academies here. People who have academies, but not FIDE licensed.
Yeah.
I want to come up with a form of training where all coaches, because first of all, with the world standards, our chess is still low. Yeah. But when we come up together, there's a lot we can create and a lot we can give birth to. Where did I borrow this from? In 2011, that was my first international presence when I was in China, Shenzhen, China, for World Universities Games. And we made the China team. It had been fourth the previous year. It was full of guys from the universities. They were like, how did you guys do it? That year it won the World Universities. Do you have a coach? They're like, no. I'm like, how did you do it? Because we checked their ratings. In 80s, they were like Uganda. Then a few decades later, these guys are totally not even 2 decades, less than 2 decades. They were already up on top of that game. Like, what did you do? How do you train? They're like, we train each other. We train together. So you find this generation, our generation, when we left, the generation I'm talking about, Arthur, I'm talking about Patrick, me. There was Mwanguzi, but he stopped playing actively. But we came back. We had to change something. We started training together, but not so much because we had school. The economy is different. Yeah. And we saw the magic work. And that's why we have at least managed to hold Uganda Chess for a long period when our names are still up there. So, which is something I want to have now for the coaches. Right now, coaches are divided. Yeah. Everyone has my group of students, my group of students, my group of students. But when you get out there, you'll fail to see which Egyptian kid is trained by who. These coaches are come in a group, and they're very, very, very like cooperative, and they coordinate. You can't even tell this one is in someone else's camp. This one is they come as a country, which is something that we lack here, something I want to build. Yeah. If we have that unity of coaches during our training, and we want to start it off immediately, even with the current national team. Yeah. To have that work plan and the togetherness when working.
Yeah, because actually now that's when probably we can have that definition, because many people think probably India there's only one coach, but you're going to find there are many coaches, just that they found a way of subscribing to one thing that kind of comes out now. We're saying the Indian School of Chess or the Russian School of Chess. Yeah. Okay. By the way, coaches out there, when you check on our social media platforms, there is a form for you to register so that you can be able to take part on the activities that the national coach will be handling over time. Please register your details so that you can be able to be supported in one way or the other. Okay. Still about national coach. What does success look like in 6 months or in 2 years?
What
does success look like in 6 months or 2 years?
What does success look like in 6 months or 2 years?
Yes.
Wow. One, I would love to have another IM for sure within those 2 years. Well, the contract says 1 year, but I'm looking at ahead whether we pass on the torch to another person, because even when I was coming into this office, I talked to the coaches. I'm like, we want that smooth flow. Like we want the post to run. We want the office, not the person. So we run the office with the coaches, and this is what we need. And the reason as to why I'm running out even that research right now that is moving out, we want to hold a meeting, come up with goals as coaches united, and we work towards these goals, not just single-handedly, but as coaches. So in the next few years already, before even other coaches talk, I already see in 2 years when we have an IM or less, we have more FMs or less. We want to have FMs below 18 years of age. And the next Olympiad team, I was still telling people, we wanted to have the under 20. Wanted to have the under 20. Even at the beginning of this Super Tours, like a team having only old guys, everyone will be fighting to be a substitute. They'll be too tired. Of course, it was a crack, but young guys are very energetic. They can go 8 hours for so many hours training, which a senior might not do.
Because of other responsibilities.
Because of other responsibilities. So that is our dream, that we want them to be up there and push them further. And also on the coaches, we want to build capacity. We want to have to encourage coaches to practice professionalism. Because the moment we have professionalism, people start valuing their work. And then when you value your work, then you will also offer something worth to a client. If you yourself, you lack the ethics, you lack the integrity, you can't offer what you don't have. So in the next years, like you said, 2 years, I will expect the coach's standard to go up.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. This question normally comes up, and we've seen it from your predecessors as well. But looking at probably now in your tenure, how do you plan to select players and track performance?
How do
you plan to select players for national representation and track progress?
For Olympiad, they already selected.
Yes.
Are you meaning any other tournament outside?
Meaning, because most cases you're going to see, okay, we have, let's say, the amateurs, Africa amateurs, individual. Then we have the amateurs for schools. Then we have the world amateurs, that is classical. Then also have the rapid, the blitz. And then also we have, I think, it's the world rapid and blitz happening in Hong Kong. Because now this normally comes up on probably there is no designated team that you see is going, just a normal player, and you want to represent. And then you be there not knowing whether, how do I be able to represent? And we've seen whereby it's good and sometimes representation, but as the community, we feel the person representing us is not the person, So how do you plan to handle that?
Regarding that, you can't really blame it on our predecessors. Most of the people who have represented us out there, it has only been a factor of funding. Our focus, first of all, should be on how do we get the funding to have that presentation already, because that is where our main problem is. We're planning to write as more proposals to reach out to the community, of which you reach out to the community when you have numbers, And also you have that you have to prove to sponsors that you can give them a visibility, and you have to show that they are covered anywhere they go. They should give them a reason for coming to the game. That's where our main focus is going to be. Okay. How do we attract sponsors into the game? Then after attracting the sponsors into the game, if money is here, then picking who goes, that is the list one. Because people will be competing to go in there. Chess is not about I like you, so represent us. You have to prove, like you saw in the Olympiad qualifiers, there was no obvious slot that, hey, I'm entitled, I have to.
We saw some things come up, but they wouldn't because of the clearly set path.
Yes.
Okay, how will you work with clubs, schools, and the federation?
How do I work?
How will you work with the clubs, schools, and the federation?
How will I work with clubs? Everything you're talking about is going to be in my proposal, but it's okay. One, I've started by getting contacts of trainers around, and by the way, even that form, most people might have thought that the form is only for people who are doing active coaching and they have titles or something,
so or to come
players,
to that.
But even a teacher who is in a school somewhere training is doing coaching. Even someone running an academy somewhere is doing coaching. Coaching entails a lot. You don't have to be an active player. So one, I began by getting the database. I want to know which region is lacking, which region is not lacking. And then when we know which region is lacking, how do we get to them? And how do we reach out to the government? How do we reach out to private sponsors? How do we show them that this is a game for this society? And we expand it further. And the moment we expand it further in all those regions, I would love those regions to have satellite clubs. You enter Kitgum, you're like, you can find chess here. We enter Kabarore, where's the chess place? Those are simple satellite clubs we can come up with.
We actually
also
need that so much,
would love to talk to, that's in the future, to talk to most of the clubs to come up with a club we call a club.
I know,
a club shouldn't just be, for now we have teams.
Most of them,
much as we attach names and clubs, but a club with structures, fans sign up to, people contribute to, it should have a base, a fan base. Yes, something that I would love to advocate for, but also that comes down with numbers. Right now we are limited because our numbers as players are still small. Active players are still small.
Okay, what support do you need to deliver the results?
The greatest support I need is emotional support. Then finance goes in next. Because the moment you are up there trying to achieve something, but you are getting only negatives, like, you did this, you did this, this is not like people complain all the time or contribute to chronic stress, and it is very hard to achieve when always someone is looking for holes in the system. But when they look for holes, they're not looking for ways of patching up those holes. They're looking for
criticizing, and that
where is the next hole. When you patch up that one, they look for the next one. It's very hard to have a system that works like that when you're under full criticism. So I beg the chess community, I request the chess community to be as a whole, to, instead of looking at negatives, this is our house. Let's find better ways of reconciling within our house without letting matters escalate out to our neighbors. And then let's build the house together. The Wetamites, I believe those ants, we might not understand their language, but I believe they also have arguments. But at the end of the day, the anthill exists.
It has to be there.
It has to be there, and they maintain it.
Okay. All right, so our viewers and the chess community, you've had the coach himself. We are going into, what we call lightning round, just to get a few things. One, best chess book for improving chess.
Sorry?
What is your best chess book for improving chess?
My best chess book. It's by Jacob Agard. Think Like a Human and Play Chess.
Okay. All right.
Yes, it's the only book that I always think of whenever I'm worried of facing this computer preparation. I'm like, there will be a move that exists for human play.
It happens a lot because when we prepare, you come to the game well prepared, and in that same line you prepared, someone plays it, but they play one human move for you. For
the computer.
And from there you cannot beat the human, but you can beat the computer. Yes. Very true. That's a good one. Then one end game every player should play. One end game every player should play.
One end game?
Yes.
Every player should play?
Yes.
What would you mean by a particular?
Because you've been focusing on telling us that, because most cases when I ask this question, it's mostly openings which are well documented. But now for endgame, I don't know how.
To me, every
could.
Player should play the rook ending.
Okay.
Every player
should play
you have rook. Not yet learned chess, until you start winning drawn rook endings, or you convert lost rook endings, of which that is one thing that I've loved about myself for the past not even 1 year. I've not yet made the 1 year, but I've been converting rook endings that are drawn, and I've been feeling happy about myself.
So recent I saw some chess tests whereby they give you a knight and tell you make sure it moves on each square once. I don't know if you've counted that before.
I've not come across that puzzle, but I think I should try it. It has to be a very.
It has to go to one square once.
A very interesting one.
So if you can have someone cover the most squares, which by the way it can cover all the squares, but now the way the technicality of doing it is something that I haven't mastered myself. But when I found it, I was intrigued that some of these things do exist. Yeah.
I should try it. I remember one of my friends. He's the husband to WFM Chigeni, Kenneth from Wiri. When I went to play my first game, I found the GS, Cass Walter versus some gentleman called Mugaga. They were playing, and Cass was beating this gentleman for giving him a run. Then Cass was like, I'm tired, I need to go back. So I decided I'm like, now I want this one that I've been beating. That time I felt like, since they've been beating even me,
I should be able to beat.
I should play with you now. That friend of mine kind of was seated next to me. This guy was making every move while laughing at me. He was even making mistakes, but I couldn't see. That's why he was laughing. So my friend told me, first move. You know what you should first learn? First learn a knight. When you learn how to calculate a knight, every square it should go to, and where it will go to next, and what's his plan, then you'll have learned chess. It's very important to learn.
Okay, I think our viewers are taking note of that. Yeah. Okay, your biggest lesson from a loss?
My biggest lesson from a loss. A loss makes you stronger, and when you're in a loss, I've learned to focus more on the future, because before I could feel bad after a loss, but why I changed my mindset, it's like, my next tournament, if I played like this, I would lose. I would rather lose now. It's good I've lost now and I've seen these mistakes, that it's always my consolation that in the next tournament I will not do it. Most of us focus on the current. So even when you reach that next tournament, there will always be something ahead that that's the lesson I've learned from my losses, that I'm always looking ahead I'm like, I won't repeat this the next time. That's always my consolation.
Okay. As we wind up, what message do you have for the young players and school chess clubs?
The young players of today, the only thing I can tell them is, and okay, what they should add to their playing, they need to practice more. Currently, we have KTLCA. Before we had SOM Chess Academy. Most of these young players, when they're young, just like any of us, we improve by playing every day, even if you don't know openings, but provided you're on that board every day, the innovative mind will always come up with something, and later on you go into a book and you're like, oh, your opening exists. That's how we learned from school, and most traditional schools were playing like that, of which today most young players are putting their 90% confidence in a coach, and the coach can never give you that 90%, because that 90% is basically supposed to be you. You're supposed to fight to give yourself 90%. The coach should be giving you 10%. Of course, when you have just learned the game, yes, he will give you that, but you can't train with a coach for 2 years and he's still giving you 80%. You're giving him 20%. Expect less results. If not, you're going to take his strength and weaknesses. So where I fail to achieve, you'll fail to achieve too. Where I achieve, you'll also achieve. You're basically another robot, a version of me that I've created. Your own self, you have not found out who you are. You have not discovered yourself, which the KTLC kids have been doing. Practice has made them stronger. They're producing results because of playing every day. So they should, the young players should embrace more of OTB than online. Online is not bad, but the physical board has a lot of magic it creates with someone. Even when analyzing, they should also embrace to analyze lost games. Most of these young kids, when they lose, they don't want to look at a lost game. They only want, coach, can you see how I won this one? We learn less from our wins. We learn more from our losses. And the more you refuse to look at your loss, I tell you, you always realize that you can find yourself losing in the same position in different tournaments even. But you're losing to the same thing, because, and every time you lose, you don't look at it. They will beat you again the same thing because you don't want to look at the lost position.
Okay. The last question to you is, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want your legacy to be like in Uganda Chess?
My legacy. One, I want to be that coach that will have an impact on the society. I want to unify the coaches, and then I want to be known for spreading the game all over, so that even the last corner of this country you go to, there should be someone training that game. That is the legacy that I would love to leave. That we should give the game value, that when you meet someone and you don't know chess, they wonder what you're doing in this society. We started in an era whereby you tell someone I play chess, like, what?
What is that?
What is that? And of which currently people are still there wondering what is chess.
Yeah, true.
So we want it to cover the country, so that whoever you meet and you say you're a chess player, they're not surprised. And that's the kind of legacy I would love to live, to be defined by the game.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Coach Ssonko, for sparing your time. And we look forward to following your impact as you spread the chess and as you build the legacy. Coaches out there, or you are coaching course, or you're coaching chess, please check on our social media platforms. You'll find a link and you register so that you'll be part of the journey and also be able to impact more people beyond what has been probably impacted. And also don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment and share your views from what probably you've learned, what has been your best part of this interview, and we can be able also to learn from you. Yes, thank you so much and have a good one.